Hi everyone, so welcome to my video on the FIA FFM video on preparing yourself for the final exams. Right now I'm Wildy Chia, so my email address is wildy231@gmail.com, and this is prepared for my YouTube channel www.youtube.com/231wildy. So this video I think is important, especially for students taking this paper, which is quite challenging to some extent. Right, the pass rates around the world usually averaging around 50%, so this would count as one of the tougher papers in the ACCA FIA level. Right, okay, so the scope in this video is that I would like to walk you through the expectations of the syllabus and identify the core aspects of the syllabus, right, and then we go on to the key part of the video, that is understanding the examination structure, right. And we talk about how to plan an appropriate approach to completing the exams. Not forgetting also identifying and avoiding key pitfalls, right? And I would also leave with you a list of must-do items, right? And I hope that with this video, this will get you prepared for the exams. And well, if you still need help, you can always drop me a mail, right? I'm always available, right? You can see my email address above here, right? wildy231. right, at gmail.com, right. Anyway, let's come to this. So what's very important is you need to establish what makes up the syllabus, right. The syllabus of the FFM, the Foundation in Financial Management, is a summary of everything. It's a bit of, management accounting, financial accounting, a bit of finance, and a bit of business knowledge. So it's scattered here and there and everywhere. As such, I have to emphasize to you that this is one paper where you cannot spot and hope that you can get away with it, right? Because you can't, right? So the way the paper is structured is such that these core topics are often tested together. So it's very difficult to say that for sure that one will not be tested and the rest will be tested, or it's very difficult to even say that three of them will not occur and you can point your finger at it. You can't, right? So the style of the examination is that the examiner will try to cover as many things as possible, right? Especially if I can list some of the key areas, such as working capital management, right? If you have seen some of the past year papers, working capital management can be tested in the MCQ. It could also be tested in section B of the exams. Receivable management, also another key topic in the syllabus, right? Receivable management, where you have key things such as factoring and invoice discounting. Those are also important areas. Payable management, important but not extremely significant, right? And inventory management, where you have EOQ and just-in-time systems. Financing, where you look at things such as equity finance, debt, and then such things as trade credit, overdraft, and so on, right? So going on is how to invest surplus funds, right? Then you have things such as certificate of deposit, bill of exchange, bank deposits, and so on. So this is also key. And you may think, how is it possible that the examiner is able to cover this many things? It's surprising, but somehow the examiner is able to test at least about 70 to 80% of the syllabus in each exam sitting. And last of all, when you're preparing for the exams, this topic cannot be ignored or avoided. Right? You can't ignore it, and I would like to emphasize that you can't ignore it and you cannot neglect it at all. So that's investment appraisal, where you look at NPV, ARR, payback period, and internal rate of return. So this is extremely important. Usually the investment appraisal comes together with relevant costs, right? And if you can't get investment appraisal right, you will have a tough time passing the exams. I won't say that it's impossible, but it will be very tough, right? So when you're preparing for the exams, make sure that you examine, practice questions on these key areas that I've emphasized. Very, very important. So long as you cover these, generally it shouldn't be too difficult getting through. The structure of the exams. Now, the latest structure that that is prescribed by the syllabus, right? According to the latest syllabus, it says that the exams will be laid out according to two sections, section A and B. Section A comprising of 10 multiple choice, right, each one ranging between 1 to 3 marks. Now, but however, only 20 marks are allocated. Right, so that means some questions would be a little bit more difficult, so then you have 3 marks. Some are much easier, then you have 1 mark. Some are average in difficulty, so it's 2 marks. The remaining 80 marks go right into the section B. Now, section B is where you have the tough items, right? It's broken down into 6 questions, right? The 6 structured questions, each being allocated between 10 to 20 marks. Right, the questions are quite cover a wide range of items. One question may have 2 topics within it. Some questions have only 1 topic, right? So, which is why it's possible for the examiner to test or cover up to 70, 80%, even 90% of the syllabus at any one time, right? For any one exam sitting, right? The total marks allocated is only 100 in the FFM exams. Now, the common pitfall for many students include failing to complete the exam within time limit. The exams is not difficult. Yes, I mentioned that word. It is not difficult. It is extremely manageable. The difficult thing in the FFM exams is that for many students is the time limit. Right. I have seen personally that there are students who overspend time. They think that they understand how to do a certain question, and what they do is that they invest as much time as they can to answer one question. But that's wrong, because you only have 2 hours to complete the exams. If you spend anything more than half an hour on one single question, you will have a tough time making through the exams. Right? So having careful planning is very important. Right? Planning as in, you should have good planning, like, for instance, out of the 2 hours, you should have 30 minutes for section A. Another remaining 1 hour and 20 minutes dedicated to do and complete section B. The remaining 10 minutes is troubleshooting. That means use the remaining 10 minutes to catch up on any question that you think you have not done so well on, right? So long as you keep to this, allocation of time, you're quite safe. Of course, you can choose to complete section A within 20 minutes. That is possible, right? Next thing. Unfortunately for many students like to write what they want to write. Now remember, you're taking the exam to answer exam questions, not your questions. So make sure that you write to answer the question, rather than writing down what you thought you remembered. It doesn't help. Another very obvious problem is that students do not practice enough. Now, practicing enough means that you have to go through the past year questions, you have to go through the revision kit, and practice thoroughly. Practicing thoroughly, in my definition, means that each question, for every one question, you have to do and attempt at least 2 times. Then that gives you thorough exposure to the question, and you can gain more familiarity with the exam style questions. And not forgetting, lastly, failing to attempt all questions. That's obviously a formula for failure. Never fail to answer all questions. Make it a point to answer everything as best as you can. Now, failing to answer all questions is a sin, is criminal, right? And the moment you fail to answer all questions, you run a very high risk of failing, right? So, based on experience, these are generally 5 problems that many students tend to commit. And I have to also add writing skills, right? This exam that you're taking, the Foundation in Financial Management, is, an English paper. The medium of examination is English. You have to be able to write properly and clearly. And many students ask if they can use point form, and I like to say, no point form. Right? Do not be lazy. Make sure that you write out in full, and also no short form. Right? I think this can be repeated as often as I can, but then students just don't seem to remember that no point form, short forms are not allowed. This is an official exam. Right? If you're going to use short form, you run the risk of being penalized. Right? Okay, the list of must-do. Okay, getting through the exam is not difficult, right? As I mentioned, time management is important, but you need to have a very appropriate action plan, right? Your action plan is as simple as spend no more than 30 minutes on the multiple choice, no more than an hour and a half, or maybe an hour and 20 minutes on the section B questions. Leave yourself enough buffer, like let's say 10 minutes, so that you can use that to attempt any other questions. Right, so your list of must-do items before you take the exams, and I think this is important. Make sure that you attempt all multiple choice questions, because this gives you a lot better chance at scoring well for section A, right? And section A is the only section where you have good chance of getting up to 20 marks, right? If not 20, maybe 18, right? And if you're able to score well, then section B would be just simple to get through. For me, when I conduct my courses, my classes at the Singapore Academy, Accounting Academy, right, I make it a point that I always walk through with students some past year papers. It's important because you're going through the course, and then you also go through the past year questions, because this is supposed to help you to gain confidence and acquire the ability to overcome the exam question, right? So going to the exam, you should be ready to handle any kind of, question, but that is relevant to the syllabus. And how can you be sure that you can do all that? Redo all questions that I have covered in class. Okay, or for that matter, redo those questions that your lecturer has covered in class. That would help extremely, right, a lot. Now, if you think that that's not possible, or you think that you're running out of time, make it a point to try at least 2 questions or more from each core syllabus, right? The core syllabus will be like working capital management, things such as investment appraisal, investing surplus funds, right? Do you know where the core syllabus is? So this is the core syllabus, right? So from each of these items, make sure that you pick 2 questions, attempt them, make sure that you're very familiar, right? So that's the core syllabus. That gives you very good grounding, foothold, and foundation to attempt most questions within the syllabus scope, right? If you have access to any of the past year papers from the ACCA, work them out as well. They are important, right? And don't forget, not all formulas are given. You need to memorize whatever formulas not given in the exams, right? Some of them, which I think I went through in class, like the minimum, maximum, and the reorder inventory levels. You need to memorize them. They are absolutely important for the exams, right? Work out a full exam paper on your own, right? Try to attempt the whole paper within time limit. Make sure that you're familiar and make sure that you're comfortable. These are essential. So at least when you take the exams, you have a better, mental awareness. You're mentally prepared to take the actual thing. Okay, so finally, I would like to add that please read through the relevant examination reports, because these gives an instant highlight on the common problematic areas encountered by the different students, right? Now, there is nothing more enlightening than reading what examiners feel, right? Do not just, do the questions, right? Having an idea where the mistakes come from makes a difference. It allows you to focus your revision efforts, and you won't end up, repeating the same mistakes as what other people have committed. Finally, or maybe not finally, right? Watch my YouTube channel, right? For the revision video, right? It's free, right? There is no cost involved. There is no advertisement. But all you have to do is just watch the video. There is no cost to it. If it helps you, great. If not, I don't think so, right? Okay, so just watch the video for the revision. Right, I've done, I think, quite a number of videos for the financial management topic, so that should surely help you, and it's free. Right. If you still need help, don't worry, I'm always available. Right, just that I might take a bit of time to reply my emails. Right, if you need to, you can make an appointment to see me in school. Consultation is free. But if you happen to be from another school, don't worry, just write in to me. I'll see how I can help you. And right, at this point in time, good luck. Right, don't give up until the very end. If you need help, help is always available around the corner. Okay. Make sure that you give yourself enough time to prepare. Right, do not do last minute work. Do not go into the exam unprepared. Right, the exams are definitely manageable. The only thing that isn't manageable, is the difficulty of the exams. But you can make sure that you're ready to meet all those challenges. Okay, with that, I'll look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day. Take care.